I love Blossoms, they're my favourite band in the world presently, and I've reviewed 4 of their 5 albums on this channel, but there's one I'm yet to do, and it's quite an important one for me because back in 2018, this was the album that actually got me into them. So we're going to correct that today and finally review their second album, Cool Like You. Just like you watching this. Released April 27th, 2018, Cool Like You serves as the follow-up to the band's self-titled debut album from 2016. Now, in terms of the album background, which is what we normally start talking about in these videos, there's not really all that much to say about this album. We'll briefly touch on what there is to talk about here, but then I'll talk more about my relationship with this album, just to sort of flesh, is that the right word? Flesh this video out a bit. But there'll be timestamps as well if you'd rather skip to the track by track review. But anyway, so the background behind this basically is after the first album where Tom Ogden, the singer and primary songwriter, he does all the lyrics, but the whole band get credited for doing the actual music. But Tom had wrote most of the first album on a guitar. This time he wanted to write it on a synthesizer, and that shows throughout this album. It's a very synth-heavy album. And that's really about all there is to say about the background, to be honest. It was recorded at Parr Street Studios in Liverpool. Apparently they recorded it in just 21 days. James Skelly produces this, as usual, alongside Rich, what's his second name? I can never remember. Rich Turvey, I think is how you pronounce his name. James Skelly has produced all 5 of their albums, and Rich Turvey has produced the first 4. I don't think he worked on Gary. Yeah, basically, that's all they have. That is literally the background of this album. There's not really all that much to say about it compared to a lot of other albums I'll talk about on this channel. So instead, I will now talk a little bit about how I got into this album and how I got into Blossoms, which was thanks to this album. So we're going to go back to 2018 here when I was just 20 years of age, and at the time the job I was doing had the radio on in the background all day, and there was a song that kept being played on the radio throughout the day, and it was a song called How Long Will This Last? And it was an earworm. It got into my ear, and I got into my head, I should say. It went in my ear and then into my head. That's how it works. And it just kept on. I kept humming it to myself, and I was like, "This is brilliant. I need to find out who this is." And obviously, I dug a bit deeper, and I found out it was Blossoms. So then I listened to the album Cool Like You, and I thought, "Yeah, this is really good." I'll be honest, I didn't think at that point they were going to become my band for my generation. Not that I'm claiming they're the biggest band of the current generation, but for me, they are, to me, probably what it felt like in the 90s when Oasis released an album to kids back then. There's not many bands around these days, is there really? So for me, that's kind of how they feel to me. But I didn't think at the time they were going to be that band for me. Like I say, when I first heard this album, I thought, yeah, it's decent. But as the year went on, the back end of 2018, I met a girl.
A girl?
Girl? And this girl was more into Blossoms than me, to be honest, and she really, really liked this album, and she was the one who got me into this album more and more and listened to it more and more and more. But even then, I wouldn't say that this was my album as such. This was the one that truly got me into them. I thought, yeah, they're good. But it was the one that came after this, Foolish Love in Spaces, which really blew my mind and then really, really turned me into a hardcore fan. So this sort of set the ball in motion, but it was the one that came after it then, Foolish Love in Spaces, that really got me into them. Anyway, said girl is no longer in my life, but Blossoms, they remained a constant in my life. They are now the band that I have seen live the most, more than anybody else by quite a considerable distance. I've met all the band multiple times now. Just last week, at the time of recording this, I was on a flight to Milan. I've seen them in Milan and Zurich on their current European tour, and they were on the flight with me, so I was talking with Tom for a good, it must have been a good 10 minutes, and I found out album 6 is coming this year. They recorded the first song for it a few weeks ago, so yeah, there's a little bit of, there's an exclusive for you there. You don't normally get them here. Album 6 from Blossoms coming this year. Stay tuned, unless anything happens and gets delayed. But if they all goes to plan, it will be this year, and I will review it. I won't have to wait 8 years like I have for this one. But anyway, yes, as I said, as I was saying, yeah, but basically I love the band now. I love the band. There's a little pun. I like your look. And it's all sort of stems from this album and back to that period of my life, if I'm being honest. So based on what I've just said there, you would be forgiven for thinking that this is therefore my favourite Blossoms album, but if you've noticed, it's the last one I need to review. I reviewed the other 4, and if I had to rank all 5 of them, this one would be bottom of the list for me. I'll go into more in the track by track review as to why, and we'll cover it more as the video goes on. But to me personally, this album now, it feels a little bit dated compared to their other albums. It's not as strong as their other albums, the other 4 at the time of recording this. It just feels there's more filler on this album compared to a lot of the other ones, and I just don't find myself reaching for this one as much as I would the other. If I'm going to listen to a Blossoms album, it's going to be either Foolish Love in Spaces or Gary to start with. It's not going to be this one. and then it'll probably be Ribbon on the Bomb or the debut. If push comes to shove, I will listen to this. But this one is a weird one because it tends to be the odd tracks I listen to off it. But in terms of the full album from start to finish, it's very, very rare I do that these days. Now, this is not a bad album, do not get me wrong. This is a good album, but it feels a bit rushed. Like, the band weren't quite ready to do this album. That they just did it because they felt like they had to do a second album. And it kind of does fall into that classic second album syndrome that a lot of bands fall into. And I know, I seen a video when they were promoting Gary where the band were asked to rank all their albums, and they, without hesitation, put this one in last place. So yeah, this isn't one of their favourites either. But like I say, it's not a bad album. It's just not as strong as the other four. It's quite interesting as well that of all Blossom's albums, this is the only one that hasn't charted at number 1. This one managed, I would say it stalled at number 4 really, because I don't know why this wasn't a number 1. Did some other big artists put albums out at the time? I can't remember. I should really have checked what was above it at the time. But it seems a bit bizarre that it only got to number 4 when every other album they've put out's got to number 1. I mean, their debut spent 2 weeks at number 1, which is quite a rare thing in this day and age. But yeah, I think that's all I've got to say here on the background. So I will quickly show you this copy I own. As a side note, I was looking online last night and I didn't realise they mustn't press this album anymore because this was going online for like 80 quid. I did not pay 80 quid for this. But yeah, anyway, there is the front cover. It's the band. That's at Stockport Viaduct. I've actually walked along this street. It's not my favourite cover they've ever done, this one, but it's decent enough. There's the back cover. I should say this is the deluxe edition of the album. The deluxe edition includes an extra disc, an extra vinyl that has the acoustic versions of the album as well. You open it up and you have Cool Like You written there. I won't get the actual vinyls themselves out because they're just black vinyl, but there's the record sleeve. It's just sort of like reflective neon lights on water, which is cool. Let's just say, yeah, here we go. God, I haven't seen this for a long time. Booklet of the band working in the studio. Look how young Joe looks there. I'm guessing this is lyrics and stuff, yeah. There you go, lyrics. I might keep this out actually for the next bit of the video when I need to do the chat by chat review, because no doubt my mind will go blank and I will forget the lyrics for songs. There you go, that's the other record. More reflective neon light stuff. Right, let's have a look. Put this back on there. It doesn't actually, because it's quite thick, it doesn't actually fit on the stand, which is a bit annoying. But I also have this copy of the album, which I think was released for Record Store Day. Now, it's a long, long time since I've had this one out as well. But there you go, different front cover. The album itself is the same, but the second disc on this is a load of covers. We've got stuff like Manic Monday, Hopelessly Devoted to You, Winner Takes It All, She Bangs the Drums, Woman. Some great stuff on here. Oh, it's just the gatefold is just the sleeves from the lyric booklet thingy, my bobby. And again, the actual things are the same, except there's writing on here. Which just basically is the credits, the copyright and all of that jazz. So, yeah, them covers are good. I actually think the covers on here are better than the ones on the Gary's covers album. So, yeah. Anyway, we shall dive in now to a track-by-track review of the album. So the album kicks off with There's a Reason Why, open bracket, I Never Returned Your Calls, close bracket. And this is a straight-up Blossoms classic. It's a song that you're guaranteed to always have in their encore. Normally, it's the second last song they do. And without doubt, this is the standout track of the album. It starts it off so strong here. It's one of those albums where it has such a strong opening track, it never really gets back up to this level, unfortunately. Kicks off with this really catchy synth riff that Miles plays. You know, it's iconic. It's an indie classic, I suppose, this. You know, dee-dee-dee-dee-dee, all of that jazz. Lyrics as well. Tom's got some great lyrics on here. That opening line, I want to know since you've been gone, have I been on your mind? It's pretty self-explanatory from the title what this song is going to be about. A lot of the songs on this album, in fact pretty much all of them, bar maybe one or two, are breakup songs. This was Tom when he was still in his sulking poet phase before he was happily married like he is now. These days we tend to get more love songs from him. Back then it tended to be breakup songs. But yeah, like I say, it's a Blossoms classic. I love the song. There's three versions of this. There's the version on this album, there's the acoustic version where basically the synth riff is replaced by a piano, which sounds really cool. And there's a choir version which came out a couple of months after this album, which is also really nice. I think it's just a cappella. An a cappella version with a choir backing Tom. It's really nice. You should give it a listen. It's a long time since I've listened to it, actually. I'm going to go and listen to it after this. So, yeah, there we go. There's a reason why. It's a fantastic opening track, and it is a deserved Blossoms classic. Deserves that title. Lead single, I Can't Stand It, comes along next, which is quite surprising that they made this the lead single rather than There's a Reason Why. But it's a great song, this one. Again, this is another Blossoms classic. We're starting off really strong here with this album. This is another song where you're sort of guaranteed to see it live. It sometimes gets dropped, but most of the time it is in there. I should say that There's a Reason Why is pretty much the only song on the album you're guaranteed what they will always do live. The rest of the album, it's kind of, it can come and go. But yeah, this song, it's got a great synth riff again from Miles. It's a common trend on this album, it's very synth heavy. Lyrically as well, Tom's got some great lyrics here, surprisingly enough. It's sort of self-explanatory again, the idea that you'd forget someone if you could, but they are that intrinsic, intrinsic, is that the right word? Entangled in your life, that's a better word. You're tangled up in blue. Yeah, basically they're that tangled up in you that you can't escape it, and you can't stand the ability to not escape the past and this person being in your life. One of my favourite Blossoms lyrics is on this song as well. Why do I fall in love with the least bit of attention? It's just like, it's a very relatable lyric in some ways. Hey? Yeah, great lyrics. But I'm not going to ramble on too much about these songs because there isn't that much to say about most of them. But yeah, it's a great song, I Can't Stand It. I love the way now when they do it live as well in the outro, Tom always sings, "It's a keyboard outro." I kind of miss it when it's not on the actual recording of it. But yeah, it's a decent song, this one. And yeah, I love it, to be honest. Title track Cool Like You comes along next, and it's largely built around this synth riff, once again played by Miles, but also listen to Chaz's bass on this song because it drives it. It's very melodic. Chaz as a bass player is very, very underrated. He's up there as one of the great bassists, to be honest, for me at least. And songs like this go to prove it. I'm not the biggest fan of this song. I don't massively listen to it all that often. Yeah, it's very middle of the road. It feels like Blossoms by Numbers almost, this song. And it's not a bad song, it's just very sort of middle of the road. Decent arrangement on it though, good production. Unfaithful comes along next, and this one is once again driven by Miles' synth, but Joe's drums and Chaz's bass is also very dominant on the verses, particularly they kind of drive the verse. Lyrically, this has got another one of my favourite lyrics on the album. It's okay, I didn't do drugs, I kissed before the girl gets lost. I don't know why I love that lyric, it's just always stood out to me, that one. Yeah, it's decent enough lyrics. What else have I got written down here about this one? That's it, basically. Look, I've got 4 lines there written about this song, which kind of says there's not a lot to say about it. So it's decent enough. Again, it's not the best song in the world. It's sort of the sort of thing now they'll probably never do this live again, but it's not a bad song. It's just there. Closing out side 1 of the album, we have the song Stranger Still, and this one slows the pace down compared to the 4 tracks that have come before it. It starts off kind of a very sparse arrangement with just Tom's vocals, but as the song goes on and on, it builds and builds with more and more instruments coming in. The chorus as well has got some very nice harmonies. Tom and Chaz, they are brilliant at doing harmonies together. Their voices work so well together. Yeah, again, not much to say about this song. It's decent enough. It's not a bad song. It's just a bit middle of the road. It's nothing spectacular really, which is a common trend that keeps developing here, I'm afraid. Kicking off side 2 of the album, we have How Long Will This Last, which, as I have already mentioned, is the song that got me into Blossom, so for that reason it will always have a special place in my heart. But even if it wasn't this song, I don't think you can deny that the album picks back up here. The first 2 tracks are fantastic, then it kind of drops off a little bit, but it picks back up again here because this is a genuinely really good song and a great single. It's got a great video as well, this one. I think the video for this one is where they're recreating Back to the Future. I think it's this video where they're doing that, which I think is possibly where this car in the video is from, in the album cover. I think it's from that video, but do correct me if I'm wrong. It's a long time since I've seen the video, to be honest. Anyway, once again, this song is driven very much by Miles' synth. Josh's poor guitar is very much lost on this album. It's not really a very guitar-y album. It's sort of just in the background doing things that are very unnoticeable, I'm afraid. Yeah, it's one of them songs, this one. I wish they'd do it live more often. I've seen them do it live a few times, but not as often these days. It's one of them ones that comes and goes. I don't think it's going to be in that often, especially as album 6 approaches, but yeah, we will see. But yeah, it's a song that means a lot to me, this one. It's always going to have a special place in my heart because it is the song that got me into Blossoms. And if I had to pick a favourite on the album, it would probably be this song simply because of what it means to me. So yeah, I love this song. How Long Will This Last? It's fantastic. Between the Eyes comes along next, and to be honest, the album drops off here now. It kind of takes a bit of a nosedive for the next few songs, which is all, this one just feels like filler to me. They used to do this one live all the time as well. This used to be the one where they did where they played a bit of Blue Monday at the end of it, I think was on this song. But they've stopped doing it now, and I don't think this one will ever come back either. I'm surprised it lasted in the set as long as it did, because it appeared in quite a lot of the shows on the Foolish Loving Spaces tour as well. But again, it's filler, this song. It doesn't really, you know, it's not a bad song. It's not bad filler. There's not really any bad filler on here or any bad songs on here. It's just like, it just feels like this song exists because they needed to put a song here in its place. Like I say, this album, it doesn't feel like they were ready to do album 2. They're just doing it because they felt they had to. Is the vibe that comes off on this one for me, and this song just kind of goes to show that. I Just Imagined You comes along next, and this is a really fast song. It's again kind of filler, this one, but it's a bit more interesting than some of the other ones on the album. I like the speed of it, the drive of it. Chaz's bass on here is bloody brilliant. This is a common trend on all their albums really. Chaz's bass plays a huge part on the production and the actual mix. Good chorus on this one. I love the way Tom sings I just imagined you, and then Chaz sings some backing vocals in response. I can't believe that bit. Yeah, really good stuff. But band performs really good on this song, but the song itself is just nothing spectacular. Sorry. Giving Up the Ghost is the next song on the album, and this is an interesting one because I'm pretty sure, please do correct me if I'm wrong here, Tom really doesn't like this song. I'm sure I seen a video of him once where he was asked about this song, and he didn't start ranting, but he pretty much said he doesn't like the song. I don't know if it's something to do with the vocal singing, on the way he has to sing it or something like that, I don't know. But yeah, pretty sure he doesn't like this one. And I don't know why, because it's not the worst song in the world. It's not, I wouldn't even say it's the worst song on the album, to be honest. I wouldn't say there is any bad songs on the album, but the least good one I wouldn't say is this one, if that makes sense. But again, feels like filler, this song. Some ways it reminds me of Smashed Pianos off the previous album, and it's sort of very sparse intro, and then it kind of builds up a little bit more with the vocal effects as well on Tom's voice on here. Yeah, there's not much to say about this one either, other than it's alright, I guess. So the penultimate track on the album is called Lying Again, and once again, this one I'm afraid is a bit of filler. Tom and Chaz have some very nice harmonies on here. Once again, it's driven by the bass and the synth. It's a faster song, this one as well, compared to the previous track, Giving Up the Ghost, but there's not much to say about it other than it's not bad. It's just, yeah, just there, innit? And finally here we come to the closing track, Love Talk, and thankfully this is not filler. This is a genuinely brilliant song. I absolutely adore this song. Any song that has a sha-la-la-la, any of that in it is gonna be great. I've never heard a bad song with a sha-la-la in it. This song, it's the idea, the lyrics, this idea of longing for someone while you're apart. So you're just a flight away, you gave me that love talk, it only made me feel worse, all of that jazz. I imagine it's, by this point, Tom will be with his current wife, who wasn't his wife at the time, but Joe's sister, Katie. And he's probably, when he's on tour, missing her, and that's what this song is about, will be my speculation. Got a great production on this one as well. It's kind of more, there is still, it is very synthy, this song, but it doesn't feel as synthy as some of the other stuff on here. What have I got written down here? It's a great song, basically, this one. It's one of them ones, I've never seen them do this one live, and it annoys me because it pops up occasionally still, this one, and just to hear that bit in the sort of, not in the solo, but the talk to me, sha-la-la-la, that bit, I'd love to just see that live, just to be in a crowd singing the sha-la-la bit. Anyway, it's a brilliant closing track, this one. I love it. It is a Blossoms classic, this one. And yeah, closes out the album perfectly. Love Talk, brilliant song. So to conclude here, Cool Like You is definitely Blossoms' weakest album of their 5. I can't see how anyone would realistically be able to argue this is not their weakest album. Now, when I was preparing for this video, I actually read some of the reviews of this album from 2018, and one that stood out to me was from The Guardian. This was April 2018, obviously, and I'm going to read one of the lines from this review. Where is it? Let's have a look. Similar to long-forgotten second stage acts, the Mock Turtles or the Railway Children, Ogden's band rarely feel like lasting stars. Now, obviously, that is utter bollocks. They're still going strong today. Album 6, as I mentioned, is on the way at some point soon. They're selling out venues all around the country, so they're obviously still going strong. But I wonder now, looking back, did the reviewer, when they heard this album, think, it's too much filler on here? Because obviously now we've had 3 great albums that have come after this one that blow this one out the water, in my opinion. It's just an interesting idea, an interesting quote, because although I don't agree with it, maybe if Blossoms had carried on doing albums like this, perhaps I wouldn't be sat here now even talking about them, because I would just be thinking they're another one of those indie bands that had a great debut album and then just disappeared into the brisk, I don't know, into the catacombs of irrelevance. Like, I don't know, the Kooks. There's a good band, a good example. Cortinas, great first album, everything else completely forgettable, I'm sorry. Blossoms thankfully didn't fall into that trap, because they managed to pick themselves back up with Foolish Loving Spaces and make one of the best albums. It's probably still my album of the decade so far. Ribbon Around the Bottom, also brilliant, and Gary is an absolutely fantastic album. But this one just feels a bit meh. And there is really, for me, only 4 standout tracks on here. There's a reason why I can't stand it, How Long Will This Last, and Love Talk. Everything else is completely forgettable. It's not bad stuff, it's just forgettable. Now, admittedly, I am being a bit negative here, because I do owe a lot to this album personally, because this is the album that was the current album when I got into Blossom. So at the time, I did love this album, but it's just, having heard everything that has come since, it kind of just makes this album become a bit less interesting, to be honest. So I'm going to stop rambling on here because I've said enough. But Cool Like You, it is a good album, don't get me wrong. It's not a great album, it's not a bad album, it's just a good album. Whereas the other 4 Blossoms albums, they're all great albums, verging into fantastic albums. Anyway, I think that's all I've got to say for today. So thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please do like the video. Leave a comment down below. What do you think of this album? Do you think this is Blossom's best album? If you do think it is, please do explain it in the comments, because I would genuinely be fascinated to know why. And I'm saying this as a huge Blossoms fan. Like, as big as you can probably, well, it's bigger than me, but I'm up there, I would say, as one of the bigger fans. And I can even I can come on here and say that I don't really like this album that much. Anyway, I'm rambling here, so yeah, subscribe as well if you're new around here, that would be appreciated. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all hopefully on a future video, but for now, goodbye.